Chapter 19. It had to be Chad. In the mid-1970s, women throughout the U.S. were starting to have a voice and slowly working toward becoming more equal with men. Instead of passively waiting by the phone for a date, girls were taking the initiative to actively pursue guys. Looking back, I wish I would have been one of them. Instead, I had been programmed since the age of 3 that girls should assume a submissive role. In her traditional role, my mother taught me by both word and example that hunting down a man is unbecoming, aggressive, and unladylike. Looking back, my chances of experiencing marital bliss might have been far greater if I had been encouraged to assert myself and pursue men in the way I saw fit, especially when it came to Chad. At age 20, I still had my blinders on, my heart guarded, and my vagina under lock and key. I waited for my prince to show up with a glass slipper and hoped that he just happened to have a size 8.5 wide. When I moved to Provo, I lived off campus with 5 roommates in a cute little peppermint pink home. When you're a co-ed in off-campus housing, the church assigns a group of male students to look after you. We referred to these 6 guys as our family home evening brothers. When Chad McBride, a tall, sandy-haired, brown-eyed transfer student from the University of Michigan, joined our family home evening group, I found myself laughing all the time. Chad was playful and witty like Mary Jo at Rick's, and just like her, he got me from the get-go. Typically, I shied away from witty banter, especially with men. But Chad took me for the silly nut that I was, so sailing back and forth with him was easy. I didn't have to be someone I wasn't. We're talking about a classy guy here. He always swallowed his food before talking, and his skin and hair always smelled clean and fresh. He even looked refined in casual wear. Whimsical and dry-humored, Chad constantly had his roommates and me in stitches with his pranks. One time, he wrote a letter to his roommate Paul, creating a professional letterhead and the whole bit. He gold-sealed the envelope and sent it to him, pretending he was BYU President Dallin Oaks, inviting him to an honorary banquet where he would be presented with an award for his outstanding academic achievements and service to his fellow classmates. Paul fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, until Chad revealed the ruse. My smart, creative friend was a perfect balance of fun and thoughtfulness. Better still, he never made fun of my careless, offbeat mannerisms and occasional disheveled dress. As a political science major and history buff with a goal to become a civil attorney, Chad would often enlighten me about past and current events. And because I was clueless about the world, he splashed my empty canvas with lots of color. Chad and I became such good friends that I joined him at his apartment almost every afternoon. When our classes let out, we would stretch out on his top bunk and I'd rub his back, with his shirt on, of course, while he convinced me with a light-hearted chuckle that the Cold War did not get its name from brisk temperatures. When massaging him, I couldn't help but notice his muscles straining from the sleeve of his cotton tee. Damn, he was in great shape. With every back rub, his moans of appreciation made my crotch dance. I was becoming unhinged. He had no clue about the torture he was putting me through. To have an excuse to see him every day, I volunteered to cook for him. His roommates found it hilarious when his kitchenware gradually became unrecognizable. It wasn't so much the food I burned, but the Tupperware that I thought was oven-friendly. I learned that placing plastic utensils in the oven was not the best idea, even on low heat. Yet Chad kept me around. He even hung the charred items on his kitchen wall and took a picture of me. Maybe he had feelings for me. If so, he never made a move. Because I had a habit of falling in love too quickly, I convinced myself that the Lord put Chad in my life to help me slow down. He was a level-headed kind of guy that had the ability to keep whatever we had going in the buddy zone. I would leave it to him to keep the flame low in hopes our friendship would one day transform into a fiery romance. Then it happened, sooner than I had anticipated. A month into our friendship, Chad confided in me that he had a 5-year-old daughter, Jade, a product of a high school romance. Shortly after her birth, he joined the church. To my delight, when little Jade came to visit Daddy, I had the chance to bond with her during the times Chad attended his classes. After Jade had left for home, while working my fingers into Chad's neck, I mentioned to him how adorable she was. With raised brows and fixed eyes, my friend peered up at me from where he lay on the sheet. "Jennifer, Jade needs a mother." He jigged his brows 2 more times. "Jennifer?" My fingers wandered off his neck as I sat upright. All at once that slow-burning flame grew brighter. He was still looking up at me, but I couldn't tell if he was serious or joking. Was he testing the waters, seeing if I would take the bait and tell him how much I cared about him? With his head propped in his hand, we locked eyes as he tendered one last flirty brow jig, his slow smile melting my heart. If nonverbal cues could relay a message, his were inviting me to close the gap between us. It appeared that he wanted to make it happen. Why was I so tongue-tied? He had me so confused. Did he really want me to be Jade's mom? Was this a marriage proposal? If so, how was I to respond? I was befuddled. To my chagrin, all I could offer was a nervous giggle. Pathetic. When my friend extended his tease, his dazzling eyes fixed on me, I became immobilized. My window of opportunity to spill out any questions or tell him how I truly felt about him was slowly closing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.